This week we got communication. And I hope that last week was open and expansive for you, diving into rewriting your belief systems. And I hope with that too as well that it can start to shift you into this mentality of how to better communicate with yourself, which is why I've structured it this way, which is why we have communication this week. Because once we start to question the beliefs that we have and rewriting our belief systems that we have, then we want to learn how to articulate those things. We want to learn how to talk to ourselves in those moments when we may feel down or depressed, or maybe we want to show love or give advice, whatever it is. Communication is a key piece into not only showing love for yourself, but also showing love towards others. Okay, so for this week, we're gonna have a communication talk. And in this, I want to also, I love starting with examples of this, okay? Good life stories so you guys can actually connect with me on a deeper level so you can see what it is that I've been working on too, okay? And always please share in the chats that we have for our online community. Always share in those too as well for anything that you got going on related to what it is that we're working on this week. So something for me that has really expanded my mind when it comes to communication is my relationship. And I even want to go a little broader on that, my relationships. I've had 3 very intense relationships here, and within the past, 5-6 years. And the one that I'm in now with my current partner, she is absolutely wonderful. This is the love of my life. I have found a good balance in how to communicate with myself and communicate with her. Now, I couldn't get to that point without having the other partners in that too before her. And what I learned about myself in the communication piece was that there's different types of ways that I saw myself when it came to control and manipulation and really narcissistic tendencies. So what I want you guys to do this week, a question, and I'll make sure I have these in the notes too as well. A question that I want you to ask yourself: am I communicating from a place of love or from a place of unity? Or am I communicating from a place of scarcity, from a place of separation, from a place of anger, right? When you ask yourself these questions and how you're talking, and it can be when you're talking to yourself or when you're talking to your partner, family, friend, whoever it is, when you can ask yourself where you're communicating from, that baseline, right? Because if you're wanting to make $1 million by the end of this year, and if you're communicating with yourself from a baseline of scarcity, it's probably not going to happen for you. Say you're wanting to call in a partner, but you don't even love yourself, and you keep communicating to yourself that I'm not good enough. It's never going to happen. Men are horrible. Women are horrible. Relationships are the worst. That communication piece right there to yourself, by saying that language out loud and communicating that to the universe, it's going to bounce right back to you. Okay? So in my relationships that I've had, it's really taught me to be of service, which is what I want to hit on in the communication piece, is to be of service to yourself and of service to others. When you're communicating, how can you bring people together? When you're communicating, how can you bring yourself together, right? And you know what I mean by this. There's been times, I'm sure, where, say if you woke up, you're having a bad day. Maybe you didn't get the coffee you wanted, someone cut you off while you're driving to work, whatever it is. Instead of continuing and perpetuating that cycle of continuing to have a bad day, why not just communicate with yourself and let yourself know, I'm safe, I'm loved, I feel frustrated. This too is gonna pass though, and I'll be okay, right? Just switching the communication piece right there on how you talk to yourself. It's massive. It's all you need to do. Just switch the communication piece, okay? So that's the last thing that I wanna say in this, is that when it comes to communicating better with yourself, the language that you're using is very, very key. It's very, very potent, okay? I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and one of the things in there is that they talk about is the types of words that they use when it comes to how they want to create magic within themselves, right? The things that they believe in. And that's one of the things, I know it's pretty nerdy, but watching that movie what it showed me is that the words that they use when it comes to making spells, the Wingardium Leviosa, whatever it is that they're doing in there, they're creating spells and they're creating magic, and they fully believe the words that they're saying. They fully believe the words that they're saying, right? It's one thing for me to say, I want to have a good relationship with my daughter, right? Do I actually believe that though? Am I communicating with myself on a sense of like, I want to have a wonderful, loving, genuine, playful, abundant relationship with my daughter, right? Communicating that to the universe, right? It's amazing to see how many times in this life that so many of us will talk down on ourselves and continue to use that type of language on ourselves. And then we wonder why we're in a depressive state. We wonder why we're in the toxic relationship that we're in. We wonder why we're overweight, underweight. We wonder why we can't get that job that we wanted. We can't get the business that we've been wanting to create, right? Are you using the right words? Are you using words that will bring all these things to you? Or are you constantly talking down on yourself, judging others, communicating from a place of separation to others and what's around you? Okay, so this week, I really want you to be intentional. Be intentional and listen. Listen to the words that you are speaking out loud. It's a good practice to do with yourself, yes, first and foremost. If you have a partner, it's a wonderful way to listen to what it is that you're saying to him or her. And then if you have children too as well, it's another wonderful practice to be able to see how it is that you're communicating with them. Our children will teach us patience, and they'll teach us ways on how to communicate with them, because they can feel a lot more than what we can feel, especially at a young age. They're very, very energetically sound, okay? And they will push our buttons. I know they will. I have a little girl, and then there's also a little boy named Bear that I have too as well. He's pushed some of my buttons sometimes, and so is my daughter. And it's all reflections. And how am I communicating with them? Because is my communication to them, do they not feel safe? Is that why they're not communicating with me with safety? Right? So just questioning yourself this week. How am I communicating? How am I communicating? Okay, so please always send out any questions, concerns you have. Let me know how the meditations, the breath work, the journaling practices are going. And I'm also gonna have a challenge this week too as well that's gonna bring a little bit of confronting experiences because there will be some mirror meditations involved this week. So I hope this journey has been great for you so far. And please always touch base with me and find joy in the journey.